right. Hey everyone, this is Kelvin. I'm talking to Derek Rydquist of the Zenith Passage. How are you doing, Derek?
I'm doing well today. It's very hot here in Albuquerque, but doing well.
It's brutal. I don't know what to say. Just stay inside, drink plenty of water.
Yeah, or come to our show. It's air conditioned.
Yes. Yeah, you guys are playing tonight with Fallujah and Enterprise Earth.
Yep.
And the Zenith Passage has a new album coming out this Friday, so everyone should check that out. We could talk about that in a little bit, but I just want to kind of get some background on you.
Sure.
How long have you been involved with music?
And I've been involved with music in some capacity for a really long time, like since I was a little kid. But like death metal specifically, probably like 20 years, maybe a little more at this point. Really how it started was when I was a kid in like elementary school. I played drums, and I played drums throughout junior high and a little bit in the high school, but I made friends with a kid who was better than me, and we wanted to start a band, and I played drums. There's no space for me in the band, so I didn't know how to play guitar or bass, so I figured out how to do vocals, and then kind of moved forward from there and got a pretty decent band in high school going, which led to me getting into the Faceless in about 2006, and then from there I've been involved.
Yeah, I kind of looked at your background. I saw you were involved with the Faceless, and let's see, there was John From.
Yeah, John From as well.
Yeah, I think those are the main ones I saw, and then just recently the Zenith Passage.
Yeah.
What were some of like your influences, like to be a vocalist?
That's always a hard question, because I try to not really have influences, and B, like not try to be much of an influence in terms of vocals, because like everyone's voice is so different, and this type of music is like you're really pushing your voice to a certain limit. I have like no technique, so that's also why I don't think I should be an influence on anybody. I think a lot of people have really great technique, but I haven't figured it out, nor do I necessarily plan to. I think that's part of my sound, is whatever I figured out with my body is how it works. But man, when I was like in high school, I would say, we were figuring out the band and how we should sound, and a friend of mine showed me Dying Fetus, and he said, you should sound like this guy. And I was like, okay, I will try to do that. But I think really where I started doing like heavy screaming vocals was coming more from like a hardcore background. And I was like really big into hardcore. I still love hardcore, but like Hatebreed was one of the first like really heavy bands I heard in like 1997 or 8, somewhere around there. And then who else was big for me? The dude from, I don't even know his name, but the guy from Poison the Well, if you know that band, was a really big influence on me, because I had the Hellfest 2000 DVD, and I heard all these guys doing vocals and playing music I'd never heard before. I thought it was really cool and wanted to start a band like that. So I wouldn't say either of those bands are influences on me at all, but showed me how to get into it and how to push the boundary of the voice a little bit.
All right. Yeah, that's cool. Like I said, I know you mostly for the Faceless. How did you end up joining the Zenith Passage?
I've known Justin for a really long time, and he's like the driving force of that band, of our band, the Zenith Passage. And I've always kind of, every time I'd see him or we were in a group chat together, just kind of like, if you ever need somebody, if you want to start a band, let me know. And one day I said it, and he's like, okay, yeah, you can do Zenith. And
yeah.
I was like, oh shit, I guess I have to do it now. And here we are.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I was just asking about like how you joined, and
yeah, just friends. Justin played in the Faceless as well, and then Brandon also plays in Zenith. He can't make it on this tour with us, unfortunately. He plays in the band Cynic, so he was on tour with Cynic while this one was going. But Brandon I know from the Faceless, and just a close group of friends who play technical death metal in LA. It's not that large of a group of people, so over time it just the time felt right to give it a shot.
Okay. And how does the Zenith Passage differ from the previous bands you were involved in?
That's a good question. I just think, it's I haven't been in a band like this for a long time, since 2011 or 12 with the Faceless playing like a more technical death metal, right? So in the time between then, I've played bass in a doom band, and I've done vocals in my other project, John Frum, which is way looser, way more caveman style. It's like, there's stuff on there that is not great takes that we think is cool. This stuff is like, the Zenith stuff is really fine-tuned, well-oiled machine, like very precise music. And I kind of describe it as, like, every time we play, it's like solving the world's hardest puzzle. And just like trying to find those right pieces and fit it together. So it's a completely different mental state than I've been in for a long time. It's pretty cool. Just like, we're all at the top of our game right now, and like playing very sharp and very precise, and like really doing this type of music that, the music that Justin primarily writes, like the service it deserves right now. So I think it's different in that it's just like the goal is precise music and achieving that at the highest capacity that we're able to.
Yeah, I mean, I listened to the album, and yeah, it definitely does have a lot in common with the Faceless. I mean, you mentioned you guys worked together.
Yeah, I mean,
previously,
the last tour that we had done is there's 5 people in the band, and 4 of them are from the Faceless. So
yeah.
It's bound to sound a little bit like it if I'm the voice of the Faceless and I'm now the voice of this band. It stands to reason that it'll sound at least in some ways similar.
Yeah, no, I was a big fan of Planetary Duality. Yeah, I remember. Well, I'm 37, so when it came out, I was like still in college. And I remember studying for like my biochemistry final and having that on repeat.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, but yeah, this album though, it's really cool. I mean,
thank you.
Comes out on July 21st, which by the time I put this out, it should be out already. And I got the promo, and it's very like it's almost like a movie soundtrack. I mean, yeah, just especially with the synth, the keyboard.
I think Justin would be pleased to hear you say that. It's mostly what he listens to is like film scores and is inspired by film scores, and he tries to make things feel quite cinematic behind the scenes, and it sounds like you picked up on that with the atmosphere and the synth stuff that's going on. So glad to hear that's standing out.
Yeah, I dig it. I mean, were you involved with like the music writing, or was that part already like kind of done when you joined?
I don't really have much room to talk in that department. I'm not that great of a musician by the traditional way you might think about it, right? I don't know how to play guitar. I'm not a drummer. The best I can do is contribute. So yeah, most of it either was done, or once it's mostly complete is when I kind of enter the arena. Like the music that these guys operate on is like a different wavelength than than I'm capable of, and kind of my role in the band is to translate some of that insanity and high level stuff into something headbangable or nautiable or followable. I guide you through when all this really gnarly stuff is happening around us.
Yeah. As far as like the visual part and the lyrics part, were you involved with that, or is that a band collaboration?
I would say I wrote almost all of the lyrics, but the application of the lyrics to the songs is more of a band effort. Again, like the guitar players know this stuff intimately. It's very complex, and while I like to think that I understand it, they understand it on another level than even me as a major band member do. So I sit down with Justin at his home studio, or we do it at my place, and we listen to like the demo of the song, and we kind of say like it was kind of embarrassing, but we just like make whisper tracks, and we go like, this is what the vocals should do, and we record that, and then basically write around that skeleton idea. And so sometimes some of my ideas would be like, no, like if you do a vocal there, you're kind of missing the point of the riff. And I was like, oh, I guess I missed the point of the riff, and now I understand the song better. So, he keeps it in check, and we're very collaborative in terms of making sure that, like, to me, this band, the Zenith Passage, is a guitar-first band, and I want it to make sure that the vocals are respecting the guitar at all times.
Okay. And then as far as the visual part of the album, what are some of the themes and like stories behind the songs on the album?
There's kind of two larger stories going on, and so the record is called Datalysium, and it's kind of a combination of the word data and Elysium, which is like a heavenly place in some mythologies. And kind of the concept is that revolves around modern technology, social media, and kind of where it's taking us as a society and human race. And I think like if you look at the internet these days, or like even my social media, it's like pictures of me doing cool stuff, right? It's never me like feeling bad or looking like shit. Sometimes like that because I think that's funny, but it's what you present to the people. And like if you were to die, it leaves behind this like perfect heavenly portrayal of your life with not much other context, not much other meaning other than like the highlights. And that's kind of what I think that's kind of a problem. And like we might think that we are building this sort of like heavenly location for our digital future, and really it's kind of more of just like this enslaving technology that I use all day, every day. Even in my line of work, I use computers and chat rooms and stuff all day long. So I'm not like above it. I'm not better than it. But like we're being taken in this crazy direction where we're not really in control, and it's going to start controlling us more and more and more. And we gotta like take those themes kind of really far in sci-fi on the record, going back to like some of the songs are about like for lack of a better term, the Big Bang, but really the Big Bang in this context of our record is like whatever catalyzed the Big Bang is like a closed system computer, and then it explodes into multiple and into infinity, and it didn't expect that to happen. And so now it's like our universe was born of this fear, and the fear extrapolates through every living and non-living piece of that universe. And so if our universe was born of fear, and now everything that makes up our cells and the elements and anything greater than that is also imbued with that fear, and kind of how we're living in a fear state at most times as people, and that modern technology kind of preys on that, even if you don't realize it. Without like spending an hour talking about it.
No, I can't wait to get the record or the CD and flip through the lyrics, because the promo I got didn't come with lyrics.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I definitely want to flip through them.
It might help, it might not. I was really influenced by this book by Donna Haraway. It's called The Cyborg Manifesto, and it was written in like the late '80s, I believe. And it's about like how technology is going to affect people. Specifically women. It's written from like a feminist point of view, and I took a lot from that, and she was predicting the future pretty well there, and kind of just took some of those ideas and ran with them really far. But the way she breaks it down is really interesting and relevant in today's world. Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm just like, excited to check out the physical album, and the artwork is I don't know, I really like the artwork with the
cool.
With it's like funny. The artificial arm and the human arm like connecting.
We had a different cover, and like we were kind of dealing with it while we were on tour, and so our attention was kind of distracted. And the same person did the cover, and he worked really hard on this other one, and we were giving notes, and then like probably like moments before we were confirming that would be the cover, we were just like, you know what, this isn't quite right. And not that it was bad or anything, it was just like not, for some reason we woke up one day and it wasn't exactly perfect. So we actually have like a pre-order shirt with some of that art, and I'm sure we'll ask if we can buy some of that art or use some of that art in other merch. But it was a little too busy. Like we kept throwing ideas, like what if it had this, and what if it had, and the artist did a great job of gathering it all. And by the time it happened, we as a band were like, oh, we told him to do too much, and now it isn't as impactful maybe. So it was like totally our fault for giving bad feedback. But then Justin had the idea, like what if it was, the meeting of man and machine, and that's kind of what's happening. Like in our lifetimes, we're going to see that handshake happen. It's already happening, but I think we're gonna see it really happen pretty hard, probably in like 10 years.
Yeah, I was I was staying in a hotel last night, and I was here for work, but HBO was showing. Have you seen Ex Machina? Yeah,
that movie's awesome.
Yeah, it reminded me of that. I was just like, oh, that's just like the Zenith Passage, with artificial intelligence, the AI passing as like the movie's about like the guy. The Turing test. The Turing test, and he's like testing the guys like
to see if he can tell that she's a cyborg, or she's not even a cyborg. I don't think she's just a robot. But yeah, seeing if he can tell that she's not a real person.
Yeah, it was good.
It was really good.
And then speaking of that, are you guys all like kind of like sci-fi, like either novel or movie fans?
I'm all of the above. I think the latest sci-fi novel I read was Three Body Problem, I think, which is really, really good. It's awesome. There's a show coming out about it. It looks pretty sweet. And there's a Chinese version of the show that looks really, really good too. So I'm excited to check those things out. But Justin loves Blade Runner, all things Blade Runner. He's pretty deep into the lore and just like the soundscapes and the aesthetic of all that. But yeah, I would say we're definitely sci-fi and fantasy people.
Yeah.
I think that comes with like the territory of being in like a death metal band. Even if like you don't like Lord of the Rings and Star Wars or whatever for sci-fi, like most of this music is based in fantasy in some way or another. Maybe it's not like high fantasy like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones, but it all is all pretty fantastic in a way.
Yeah, I like sci-fi, but I think on mine I'm more like into the DNA and kind of manipulation of like DNA. I really like that. There's a movie, actually the same guy that made Ex Machina made Annihilation.
Yeah, I love Annihilation.
Yeah, where
I read all those books too.
Yeah, like stuff like that where I don't know. I think maybe just because I went to school for studying medical like science, and I don't know, that stuff just kind of I can relate to.
Have you watched? I don't even remember the movie, but I remember it from. We're about the same age. You remember that movie Gattaca?
Oh yeah, I love that. Yeah,
that one was good.
Yeah, where they kind of like, it's like the whole society is based on their DNA. Mm-hmm. Like if someone has good genes, someone has like bad genes, and then their jobs everywhere, everything in society is like just like determined by their DNA.
Yeah, that was an interesting one. Got to watch that again.
Yeah, and I don't know, the show The Black Mirror. I mean, like not all the episodes are like perfect, but there's been some like really good stuff like on The Black Mirror. Like kind of like what you were mentioning, like how someone's like with technology, how that can preserve someone's like
yeah, I remember an episode of that where like you've got like Facebook or whatever like embedded in your brain, and then when you have like a bad interaction with someone at the coffee shop, they can like downvote you, and then it changes your status in society, and then everyone's got this augmented head or implant that oh, that's like an untouchable person now, oh, that's a really cool person, and like seeing that feedback in real time. And like I don't think that's too far off. I hate to say it, but I think we'll see things going that direction.
Yeah, there's one episode, I think it's the same season, where there's like kind of like a, I don't know, I guess like a virtual like program, a virtual app or program where people who died can upload their like memory and their previous life into this like a hard drive, and they can kind of relive their life. Mm-hmm. And then like people who are still alive can visit them inside that like
I forget
computer.
Which one. That one was called like
it's like San Junipero.
Yeah, good memory.
Yeah, that one's really good. Yeah, the new season came out, and it was, I would say, about, there's like maybe 2 or 3 good episodes, but it wasn't like a perfect.
Actually, I work for Netflix, so like watching those shows reminds me of work, so I don't watch too much.
Okay. Yeah. Oh no, I dig them. That's kind of like what I do. Like I like listen to music and watch that.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
But and then I guess I always ask people, like, if you have any friends in bands, or if you know of any like bands that people should check out. Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, I think a record that a lot of people should listen to is called a band called Thanti Faxath. I'll just spell it THANTIFAXATH. They're, for lack of a better descriptor right now, like a pretty like trippy black metal band. All the members are anonymous to most of the world, but it's made by really cool people, and it's a mind-blowing record. I describe it as, it sounds like you're falling down a flight of stairs, and it's just like twist and turn and really weird riffs and like really cool vocals. And I know a lot of people like rawness of black metal production, I myself included, but it's really well produced, so you can hear everything and like really appreciate what's going on. If I could recommend one record that's come out this year, it would be that one, the Thanti Faxath. It's called Hive Mind Narcosis.
All right. But yeah, those are all my questions, Derek. Thanks
Cool.
again for talking with me, and everyone should check out Datalysium. Should be out by the time everyone hears this.
Awesome. Thanks for having me. Hope